That was one of the latest and greatest songs, right? I don't know. But here we go. We're going to take a look at our 8.6 notes. We're going to be factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Uh, you may kind of take a look at this at first and think, gosh, isn't that what we did in 8.5? Sort of is a funny word, sort of, because it's very similar. However, we have not yet seen um, this a term sitting out here in front of the x. Basically, everything we've seen so far in our factoring have not dealt with that. So we're going to take a look at that here. So basically what we're going to do when we factor this, we're still going to use a similar process that we used when we were factoring it without the a term sitting here, except for since that a term is sitting there, we're going to have to deal with it. So in this particular section, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply a times c. So this is an example. If this was the example, we would multiply 2 times 20. That's going to give us 40. Then what do we do with that? Well, we're going to use the same process now to get to a certain point. So what common factors get us to 40? And we're going to have to figure out which of those factors has a product of 40 but a sum of -3. So we're going to have to go through the products of 40 to figure out where that's going to happen. Oh, look at that. It happens at 5 and 8. So we take our equation. We're going to take that -3. We're going to break it up. And now we can deal with this using factoring by grouping. And then all of a sudden, it'll work. Okay, here we go with our examples. Number 1, our a term is a 2. Our c term is a 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. We need to figure out what multiples of 10 we can use. So we can use 1 times 10. We can use 2 times 5. And I'm pretty sure we're going to need that one because 2 and 5 add together to get 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our initial problem and we're going to basically break it up just a little. It should look like this. And now we can use our factoring by grouping process that we learned in 8.8, which is why we skipped ahead a little bit and figured that out first. So here we go. We can do a common factor here of 2r, which will give us 1r sitting there and a -1. And then we need to also break up this one here. So we need to get something that's going to equal the set that's in the first parentheses. So I'd like to factor out a -5 and see what happens with that. Okay, that's going to give us a positive r, and it's going to give us a -1. And would you look at that? Our sets of parentheses add up, or they don't add up. They are equivalent, and so now we can combine our 2r minus 5 and complete our factoring by grouping with our r minus 1. And we're done with number 1. Okay, number 2, here we go. We have 6 times 40. That's going to give us 240. All right, and I can see that it would take me a little while if I went 1 times 242 times something equals 240 and went down that list. So I looked at this and figured out pretty quick, I want to try some stuff that adds together to give me 31, and then I'm going to try and see if that gives me 240. So I worked a different direction when I did this one. So I came up with 15 and 16. So all I'm going to do now is break up that 31 and then I can do my factoring by grouping. Alright, let's change colors so we can see which ones
we're going to set up here. Went ahead and skipped ahead just a touch there so that we can make sure we stay within our time limit on our video here that we're making. YouTube does limit us to 15 minutes, so I'm going to make sure that that we can make that. However, I'm pretty sure you can follow my process there because we've been working on this factoring by grouping for a little bit. Okay, here's what I want everybody to do. Pause the video and try number 3 on your own. I'm pretty sure you can handle that one. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you tried number 3 on your own. You should have gotten 6x plus 5 times x minus 1. We're going to move along and we're going to check out number 4. When we multiply 20 and negative 18 together, we're going to get negative 360. All right, so you're going to have to go through several of the 1 times 360, 2 times something to get to 360, and basically we're going to have to figure out which of those add up to be 9. I'm going to go ahead and let you know that it's going to be 15 and 24. So let's go ahead and set up our problem so that it's a little bit more broken down so that we can work on it and do some factoring by grouping, which is the entire point of this video. And I'm pretty sure that we can figure out puzzles with numbers while we're doing our homework, because that's pretty much what you're going to be doing with these, and it's actually quite fun. So here we go. I'm going to set up a parenthesis there. I'm going to set up a parenthesis there, and then we can do some factoring by grouping. What I'm going to do is go ahead and factor out a 5w out of this first set. Okay, that's going to give me a 4w plus 3 on the inside there, and then over here I am going to factor out a negative 6 because I want this set of parentheses that I'm about to set up to look exactly like this one. And what do you know, when I pull out a negative 6, that's exactly what happens. It looks exactly like that one. Now I can combine the 5w and the 6, and factoring by grouping has been completed for number 4. It's a positive sign. I think you get the picture. Welcome back to our video. I started on number 5 and then I made a mistake, and so I decided to only erase half of it and just go ahead and show you where I'm at. If I multiply 35 and negative 16, I'm going to get negative 560. In full disclosure, on number 4 and on number 5, I used a calculator. So there you go, now you know. Let's complete this one though. On this left-hand side over here, I can factor out a 5a. I see that happening, which is going to leave us a 7a plus 2. And then over here, I'm going to factor out something that I want to make sure we're going to get the same number or same things inside of the parentheses here. So let's factor out a negative 8. I'm pretty sure that'll do the trick. We're going to get a 7a, and we're going to get a 2. We'll look at there. That did it. So now I can combine 5a with negative 8, and we can just go ahead and copy down that same set of parentheses, and we appear to be done with number 5. So for number 6, we need to multiply 6 times negative 21, and that's going to give us a negative 126. We need the sum of those two numbers to equal 5. So I can see a pair that'll work in 14 and 9. We need the 14 to be positive because we've got a positive number happening. So 6p squared plus 14p minus 9p minus 21 is how we'll set this one up. Let's change colors so we can see where we're going to head in the direction with our factoring by grouping here. And we'll get rolling there. I can factor something out of that. Let's try a 2p. Okay, that's going to give us 3p plus 7 sitting inside of there. And we want the other side to look just like that. So let's factor out a -3 and see if that does the trick. It's going to give us a positive 3p, a positive 7. Hey, look at that. Looks just like the other set of parentheses. Works out. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the last problem on the video. So we need to figure out whether or not you watched this one. And I think that what I will have you do is come to class and tell me who your favorite member of One Direction is. And I think it should probably be somebody who's still in.